Hey guys, welcome to Guys in the Ozarks. So I was out doing a little bit of hiking earlier today, and I got to thinking. So you guys know that I spent about 10 years in the fire service and search and rescue. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was some things that you can do to to make it easier for those people that are looking for you when you're in a bad situation, whether you're injured or lost. Uh, what can you do to make it easier for those folks to find you? So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first thing that we want to talk about is it's like anything else. You know, when you're getting ready to go on an adventure, hiking or camping or whatever, you want to have a plan. Well, it's in that plan, you need a plan for something bad happening. So what I do and what I recommend to you guys is to share your plan or your itinerary with somebody you trust, spouse, a close relative, you know. So tell them where you're going, what you're going to be doing, you know, uh, the clothing, describe the clothing you're going to wear, your vehicle, maybe even give them a tag number to that vehicle if they don't have it. If you're hiking or whatever, you might want to give them an idea of the route that you're going to go. Hey, I'm going to I'm going to go up Route K. I'm going to get on Forest Service Road such and such, or I'm going to take such and such trail, you know. Give them an estimated time of when you're going to be back, right? That way they know, hey, he's not back. He said he'd be back by 5 o'clock. It's 5:30. He's not back. He's not called or anything. Let me start trying to get a hold of him, and start the process. Equipment. So you want to carry those things you're going to need. I tend to subscribe to the 10 C's. I'm not going to go into all that. There's plenty of videos on that. Dave Canterbury's got videos on that. Explains it way better than I can. But I think most of us have been doing this for a little while. I've kind of got to have a bag put together already. So lastly, what I want to talk about is carry some signaling devices. You know, I like to carry three. I also subscribe to that rule of three. One is none, two is one. So what I usually carry is a whistle of some kind. I usually carry a signaling mirror. My compass has a signaling mirror built into it, and I carry a flashlight that has a SOS mode. We all carry these things, but sometimes they don't get signal. So, right? So what do? You don't have cell phone signal. I'll tell you what you could do. You take your phone. You go into your voicemail. Change your voicemail. Give an approximate location if you know it. Hey, I'm about 45 minutes up such and such trail. You know, explain where you were going. What happened? I've fallen and I've broken my leg. You know, even if it's just something as simple as, hey, I ran out of gas or my battery died. Right? Describe what's going on. Give them a time and put a time stamp on it. Put a time in there so they know, hey, he's been out there so long, right? Or at your vehicle, or you're at maybe a creek crossing or something like that. Let them know. Put that information in the voicemail. with communications is a two-way radio. I don't have it on this pack, but I carry most generally I carry a little Baofeng. I think it's an 880 radio. It's just a little two-way. It's a two-way radio, but it picks up ham frequencies and stuff. And yes, you are supposed to have a license to operate and use those. But in an emergency situation, no harm, no foul. It's so you're hiking and you realize you're lost. What do? The first thing you do is you stop where you're at. Don't keep going. Try to figure out a way out. You know you're lost. Stop in place. Observe your surroundings. Unless you're in immediate danger, you want to stay put. Because if you keep going, you're just going to get more and more disoriented. That's the thing. You've lost the trail, right? So you're off out and you realize, hey, I'm not on the trail anymore. I'm out in the middle of the woods. Typically, you're going to just get yourself more lost. Look around, try to find some terrain features that you can identify. Maybe there's and if you have trouble with those, they're all right here on your hand. You got a depression, a ridge line, a valley, a draw. You got all the major terrain features right there. Now I will say this: uh, if you're in a dense area, if there is a clearing close by or a ridge top that you can get to, uh, that's great because you may have there may be air assets involved in the search and rescue operation, and it's going to be much easier for you to signal them in a clearing than it would be in dense woods or whatever. Signaling for help. So you've got that whistle that we talked about earlier. So 3 short blasts consecutively. That's the international distress signal, right? Use it. Don't sit there and try to yell and scream and stuff. You're not gonna. It'll work for a while, but that whistle will carry a lot further than your voice because it's much higher pitch than what you can produce with your voice. Secondly, you're going to burn your voice out, and you're going to lose. You're going to wind up losing your voice. If there's aircraft, if you hear an aircraft, use that signaling mirror, guys. Most generally, if you buy just a signaling mirror, it's going to have instructions on it. It's pretty simple. Most of them have a peephole, and you get your reflection from the sun, and you aim that peephole at whatever at the aircraft, try to get their attention, and you're moving it back and forth to get that strobe effect. If you have the means and the ability, build a fire. During the day, keep green stuff on it. It puts out more smoke. Eventually, somebody's going to see that smoke and come and investigate. Right? Additionally, if it's cooler weather, it's going to help you to stay warm. Another thing is ground signaling. Uh, Rocks, uh, down logs. You can make an SOS on the ground. That'll be if you have a big opening there. I'm sure you've all seen that in movies and whatnot, but it works. I mean, it's something that's visible from earlier. We talked about that headlamp with the SOS mode on it. I wouldn't recommend using that the whole time, but if you hear people close, if you're starting to hear people, yeah, turn that baby on. That's the time to use that. Have that on, be using that whistle, get their attention. They'll it just makes it easier for them to find you. You can also, hey, I'm over here. You know, it that's the time you want to use that voice. Uh, where the voice doesn't carry as much, it'll make it easier for them to pinpoint your location. Conserve your energy. Don't. Don't be I always recommend if you're going out to carry carry those 10 C's. In addition to that, uh, a first aid kit's a great thing to have. Um, and I always carry some kind of food. I mean, like right now, I've got just a few snacks in here. You know, uh, just a package of peanuts, some dried fruit, a little snack bar. Typically, a rescue operation is completed within a few hours. They typically don't last a long time. So some other tips, guys: conserve your energy. You know, uh, if you've got some snacks like I showed you there, that's great. But you still want to try to conserve that energy. You also want to try to stay warm and dry. Hypothermia, even in temperatures as low as 40 degrees, if you're wet, you're very susceptible. I also recommend always carrying some extra clothing. I usually carry like a hoodie and if it even in the summertime, you know, um, just for the simple fact that if you do get wet and it's in the evening, you're going to get you you may not be hyperthermic, but you're going to be pretty cold. If you've got bright colored clothing, that's good too. I've seen people that carry an extra shirt and like that hoodie or whatever will be a bright color. Uh, and typically your rescuers are going to be wearing bright colors. They're going to be wearing some kind of reflective vest or some kind of high visibility clothing because they want you to be able to see them too. So another thing that helps out too, guys, is know the area that you're in. You know, r- you know, uh, carry. I recommend everybody carries a compass and a map because a compass doesn't do is not nearly as effective without a map. They're kind of like peanut butter and jelly. They're okay apart, but they're awesome when you put them together. There's all kinds of videos on YouTube about uh, how to use a compass, read a map, and they're good videos. I'd recommend Sean Kelly does a really good one. Any of the Pathfinder guys that have them on their channel. I think maybe Matt Mercer has some stuff. Blackie Thomas. There's several guys that have good videos on land navigation that you can check out. Uh, but at the very least, what I recommend is carrying a at least a button compass, uh, and that'll give you a cardinal direction. And what you can do is get on Google Maps beforehand, and hey, this is where I'm going. Oh well, if so many miles to the north is you know agriculture, you know, and to the east or to the west over here is that subdivision, and down south is that big lake, and over here to the east is that highway that I come in on, so you kind of know, oh well, if I okay, I can go east and get back to the highway and then go down to my turnoff and get back to where my car. Additionally, before you go, look at the weather conditions. I was watching a buddy of mine's video the other day, and he was camping in an area he hadn't been before. And he'd crossed a couple creeks getting there, and he woke up about 1 o'clock in the morning to thunder and lightning and rain and stuff. It dawned him, hey, I got to be able to get back across those creeks. I need to pack up camp now and get going so I can get back across those creeks and be able to get out of here. That's the kind of stuff you got to look at, guys. You got to look at your terrain, your weather. What kind of animals inhabit that area? Is it an area where there's black bear, grizzly bear? Mountain lions. You know. Oh well, I need to have my food up in a bear bag. You know. When I was doing search and rescue, most generally the biggest issue we had was people that didn't stop and think about their physical limitations. Uh, most most of your trails are marked at the trailhead as to how difficult they are. There's a lot of apps that you can get on your phone that'll tell you, you know, what kind of trail it is, easy, moderate, difficult. If you've only been hiking for a little while, or you've got some physical ailments that give you problems, you probably don't want to be doing that difficult trail, because you got to look at your own limitations and the terrain you're going into. If you're new to hiking, or even if you're not new to hiking, if you just know you have those limitations, hike with a buddy or a friend. Be aware of your surroundings. Most generally, your trails are marked. You know, uh, look at terrain features and stuff. Just we used to call it in the military situational awareness. You know, where am I at? What's around me? And the last thing I'm going to talk about in this section here is know how to use your gear. You could purchase the best gear that money can buy, and if you don't know how to use it properly, it's not going to do you any good, is it, guys? So get out here in your yard like I am here, and just practice. Go through your gear. How's this ferro rod work? Try it out. Get to where you get proficient with it. You know, hey, how's this little backpack stove go together? You, you know, test your gear before you go out with it. Test it. Know how to use it. That way you're comfortable with it. Because when you're in that situation where you know you're lost or you're injured or whatever, it your adrenaline is flowing. So it makes it much more difficult to stop and think, hey, wait a minute, how's this work? But if you've already done it before and you're proficient with it, it's it becomes like muscle memory. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. Right? You military guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So while you're waiting, guys, be patient. It's going to take them. It takes time. They have those rescue personnel. They have to get all of their gear, the vehicles together, and it takes just time to get to you. Even stay positive, stay focused. Uh, I usually carry a deck of cards. Why would you do that? Because it's a distraction. You're not sitting there constantly thinking about, oh, I'm lost. Am I going to die out here? Will I ever see my family again? Because we all have stuff on these things that will do that, right? But this is a resource. We don't want to waste it. We want to keep that battery. If you have communications, uh, communicate to them any injuries you have or anything. That way they can bring equipment with them to treat that. They're going to have a baseline of equipment, but uh, if you have an issue, it's easier for them to plan. Hey, we're going to need extra equipment. If you take medication, let them know about that. I also recommend that you carry your medication with you when you go out, even if it's just a day trip. Um, Another thing too, guys, there's all kinds of first aid courses. There's wilderness first aid courses, but even just a basic first aid course through you know would be a great thing. You'll probably use it more at home than you'll ever use it in the woods. I can't count the times that I've used my first aid knowledge at home, but it's come in really handy sometimes. So, guys, I hope y'all found this video informative. I pray you never have to use the information, but if you do, you got it in your back pocket now. I want to thank everybody for watching. All the likes, shares, comments. It's greatly appreciated, guys. So you guys get out there and fall in love with your wilderness like me and Kyle fell in love with the Ozarks. This is Matt, and I'll see you next time.